I love that intro. It's the best.
It's cute.
It is really great. So, thank you for joining us, everybody, for episode 7 of Queens of the Ring. I'm Sarah, and I'm joined by my really good friend Denise and our guest tonight, Miss Tatiana. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure.
Of course,
Absolutely.
of course. So,
Us.
Tati, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your channel and where everybody can find you on social media?
Sure. So my name is Tatiana. My YouTube channel is called Wrestle Tati. I do reviews and watch alongs, mostly for AEW Ring of Honor. I do WWE PLEs as well. And we do watch alongs for the shows. And also, I do reviews for that and anything in between. I also have a Undertaker collection, and I from time to time show everybody what I bought. So I did post that last night, some new things that I bought. So if you guys want to go ahead and check it out, my channel is Resto Tati.
Very cool. Also, you're a big Undertaker fan.
Oh man, that might be an understatement.
I love it. I love it. What would you say? I just have kind of an off question. I know we'll get to the topics in a second. What would you say is your favorite piece of memorabilia that you have for Undertaker?
Oh man, that is
It's hard to pick
really,
just one.
it is hard. I really like everything that I have. That is very difficult because I get
Hey, it's okay.
so at this point I got almost 90 figures and plushies of Taker. But
Oh,
then I also
wow.
have some odd things. Like one of my favorite things that I leave on my desk all the time, people always ask about is an Undertaker telephone that I have. I know nobody really use landline phones anymore, but whenever people come over, they see the phone, they're like, "Does it work?" And I'm like, "Well, it works," but nobody uses that type of stuff anymore. So it's a cute thing to have. Great conversation starter for whenever
That's
anybody comes
awesome.
over.
Oh,
But maybe
hell yeah.
my
That is
best
awesome.
one, probably I have an urn, and on the urn it has all his opponents on it on the back. So it's really really cool. Next time I meet him, hopefully I bring it and have him sign it.
Oh my
That
gosh, that would be amazing. I've
was.
watched I've heard that his one man show is very popular, and I mean, he speaks so well anyway.
Hmm.
So I'm sure it's just a wealth of knowledge, and of course, everybody loves, I'm sure, to hear Undertaker stories. I mean, the man had a
Right.
30-year career in the ring, and
Hmm.
that doesn't include anything he does outside of the ring. So
Right.
that's so
I've
cool.
wanted to
Wow.
go to those shows every time I get so like the tickets will sell out within minutes.
Hmm.
Minutes. What I mean like by 5 minutes they're all gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
And I tend to like whenever it comes to wrestling events or whatnot, I am always ready to buy, and they're just always sold out when it comes to that show. So hopefully I catch the next one.
Aw.
It'll come
I
to
know that
you. Get it. You'll
that's
get it.
you'll get them. You'll get it eventually for sure.
Eventually.
Eventually, just got to be patient. Maybe it just meant that the shows that have happened so far weren't the right show for you to go to.
Exactly.
That's what I
I'll take
say.
it that way.
That's what I say.
That's how I like.
So, right. All right, Mitch. What is the first question or first topic? Oh, here we go. See,
Yeah.
I had a really good lead in for that one.
Oh.
Favorite Undertaker.
um oh man, that's hard to pick one too. So I would say this, not necessarily just a moment itself. So like I started watching wrestling when I was 7, and it was something that my family would do every week, but I didn't care for it. Like I just could not connect to it at all. I just found it to be an excuse to stay up late. And one day I just happened to look up, and there he was coming out to the ring, and I was just like, "Oh my god, what is this fantastic creature in front of me?" And every week I kept tuning in just to see him, see what he was going to do. Around this time, this is when he was the Lord of Darkness. And I used to love when he would make those sacrifices and you
Oh my god, that scared the crap out of me when I was a
build his
kid.
own little cult or whatever. And I just thought it was the
Yes.
coolest thing, And for me, that just really stood out the most in terms of all the characters that they had in WWE during that time. And if you really think about it, even now, Undertaker character is probably one of the most successful characters of all time at pro wrestling. So I think anything that he does has captivated a lot of people. So it's so hard to pick just one moment. But I know during that era, it really stood out to me the most because it was just so out of this world, so odd, but everyone enjoyed it. I loved it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that whole storyline. I mean, he recruited the Brood. He had the Brood in with him with Edge, Christian, and Gangrel. So he
That was a
made
good
them a
fit.
part. Yeah, like made them a part of it, and the way he sacrificed Stephanie I didn't like the end of it though, where it came out that Vince McMahon was the one that was
Oh my god, they ruined
orchestrated all of it. That was so lame.
it.
I'm like, that is so
Honestly,
lame.
I think it was because Vince McMahon saw how hot of a story it was and just wanted to incorporate
Kind of
himself into it.
slide
And
himself in there.
yeah, and it just was really, really awkward for it to be him out of all people. I don't think anybody expected it to be him because I guess that would have been dumb, but well, that's what
Yeah.
happened.
Right. Right. Like, yeah, it's almost like somebody slammed the brakes. Like you're driving in a car and you slam on the brakes really hard.
Yeah,
That's
I
kind of
agree.
what it kind of felt like to me. So,
Hmm.
what do you think, Denise? What would you say your favorite Undertaker moment would be,
I mean, I
or
definitely
one of them?
liked seeing him and Bray in the ring together, where he whispered, and you'll never know what he whispered in his ear except
Right.
him. I definitely love that. And then also, obviously, when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, I'm just surprised it took them as long as it did to get him into the Hall of Fame.
Hmm.
I
I
definitely,
Oh,
agree.
I
those were definitely
cried.
good ones.
I cried during his speech. I was
Mhm.
so sad because it's like when you think of wrestling, profession, not just WWE, but for me anyway, when I think of professional wrestling, I immediately think of Undertaker.
Right.
And to have him not be a part of it anymore made me, it still does. It makes me sad. He was an institution,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
locker room leader. He was a good influence for both the men and the women.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was really sad. Um, during his Hall of Fame speech. I cried. I was so mad that he was finally hanging it up, but he deserved
Right.
to. After 30 years,
Oh
he
yeah.
deserved
Oh
to be able
yeah,
to.
it's a long time. He's been in the ring longer than that. So it's
Yeah,
he's had a really amazing career, and a lot of people look up to him regarding his career and how he's been able to progress from not just being just a wrestler, but from being an influential person backstage as well. So he played a huge role into shaping up WWE, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Big
oh,
time.
I agree, a hundred
Yeah.
percent. I agree. And I think can even be said that you see, um, I guess you could say, colors or hues of the Undertaker outside of WWE. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that other wrestlers and other promotions such as AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, wherever, Impact or TNA, now that they've changed their name again, that they take, some parts of what Undertaker's done over the years and they kind of put their own spin on it, incorporate it in their own way. And I think
Right.
that's a really good way for his, career and his legacy to kind of live on because he's
Mm-hmm.
living on through others, which is fantastic. And it means that he was very well respected too. If people are willing
Oh
to
yeah.
emulate him in that way. So, um, I thought of a couple, and Denise, I did think of his Hall. I actually was smart, and I made some notes. So his Hall of Fame speech was one of them. Most definitely, his rivalry with Shawn Michaels, that was another one.
Mm,
They and that those two matches they had back to back at
beautiful,
WrestleMania.
beautiful.
they're wonderful. Like they're perfect. They're perfect. There's not a mix up. There was not a botch from either side. Like they were fantastic. And I'm sure that Shawn Michaels probably that's probably two of the matches that he might have the NXT superstars watch as
Right.
they're progressing through through what they're being taught down there. Um, there was a video. The first thing I thought of with Undertaker was there was a video on YouTube, and it's from when he was doing his American Badass
Hmm.
persona, where it was after it was during Raw, but it was after they were done filming. So this was after the show was all finished. It was, and you guys probably know of this. It was, let's see, Triple H, Booker T, Kane, Vince McMahon, The Rock. They were all trying to get him to do a spinneroonie.
Yeah.
That is seriously one that is so funny to me, and I go back on and watch it just when I want to laugh about something, because it's just so funny to me, and the way he's just glaring at all of them, and he just
He's
was
like,
not
yeah,
willing.
right.
He's like, yeah, no,
Me.
no. I mean, and he was one of the last people to really hold on to kayfabe too. Like
Oh,
he,
yes.
and he's like, this is not something that Undertaker would do. Undertaker does not do spinneroonies. Just he doesn't do them. I mean, Triple H even went out there and did one, which was hysterically funny. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite things is when they were trying to get him to do spinneroonie. That was hilarious. So, um, do you have the next question, Mitch, or topic? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Favorite Randy Orton rivalry. Okay,
well,
can you think of any? Can you guys think of any?
I mean, staying on the topic of Undertaker, the whole legend killer thing, I think
Mm,
was absolutely so important for Randy's career
mhm.
and for him to have
Yes,
worked with not just Taker, but other legends as well to get to that point. That was really what really kicked it off. I know the whole evolution thing too, but that was so important for Randy. I think
oh yeah,
without that, I'm not really sure where his career would have went, but it really proved the type of star Randy Orton is, even till this day. So I would say that.
definitely. Yeah, I mean that was one. I had two listed. That was one of the ones, and it was simply. I thought it was also cool when he was doing that, going through that whole storyline with Undertaker, how his dad was involved with him too, which
Yeah,
I thought that was
That's
really
so
neat.
cool.
Kind of passing on from the
one
being
word.
in the industry, passing it on from father to son.
Right.
And it was only 2005, so Randy was he this is only his third year,
Yeah, he's still a baby.
being yeah. So I mean, to be after your third year, after 3 years of working in an industry, obviously, your dad and your grandfather did it as well, but to be trusted enough to the point where you could be in a program like that with somebody the level Undertaker was at, that speaks volumes about the kind of work you're doing.
Right, absolutely.
Agreed.
What do you think, Denise?
I liked him and Edge during the pandemic. That definitely helped keep the pandemic, like, with not being much to watch like during the pandemic. I mean, that um definitely helped keep entertainment in there. And I mean, with them having a pass as well, with being rated RKO, they have that pass. They know each other so well. They
Right.
had the last man standing match at WrestleMania, and then they had the greatest match ever at Backlash. I don't know. I just like the two of them. I definitely like him and Edge.
Oh yeah, yeah. Rated RKO. That was fantastic. Um,
Absolutely.
and they're both legends in their own right, him and Edge too. So that's, I mean, the other one that I picked, other than because there was two that I'm like I can't think of which one I really liked more, but I also thought it was feud with John Cena.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh. It's a good one.
because this is when he was like sadistic, evil, like really heel Randy Orton. I mean, he broke. I think he broke into his dad's house and beat the crap out of John Cena's dad, and he punt kicked him at ringside. And I mean, and there I've seen interviews with John Cena's dad, and his dad said, he's like, I told him, don't take it easy on me. Like, I want this to look real. Really
Right.
do it. I mean, the man was all bruised up and stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, that the back and forth with those two, that was like I said, 2009 Randy Orton. He was sadistic, he was evil, he was manipulative, but yeah, it's everything you want to see in a heel. So
Very
it's kind of why I like that
Absolutely.
one.
true.
Kind of why I like that one so
Really?
much.
Yeah,
Would you like to see him heal now?
Not yet. I have a feeling not yet. He just came.
enjoy him as a face while you can.
I know. I'm soaking it up while I can. I mean, he just came back at Survivor Series, which I popped so loud when he finally came back. Like, I was just grateful when they said that he was okay and the surgery went well and everything. But
Right.
then as soon as the rumors started flying he was coming back, I was beside myself excited. Like, so happy
And he
that he
looked like
was
an
gonna be
action
back.
figure. Like his body was just
Dude, he
that's
was
probably the best shape I
jacked.
think I've ever seen him.
He's
Amazing.
jacked. Like, his thighs are like the size of my waist. Like, his thighs are gigantic. I'm like, what the hell? Like,
He
what
looked
kind of Wheaties?
amazing.
He did.
He
It's
looked
like, what kind of
amazing.
Wheaties has he been eating? Because, good Lord. Man, I mean, he really put that time in to really, I think, get himself ready to come back.
Right.
And I think it's good that he's been doing. I mean, we all know he can handle himself like singles wise, but I think it's good that they're having him do some more tag stuff. Like, he's been tagging with Kevin Owens a lot lately, and I think that's
Right.
good. So he's not constantly doing RKO's and putting all that damage, all that pressure on doing those moves where he's having to utilize his back so much.
Right.
Um,
I agree.
so yeah, that's crazy. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that just him coming back. Yeah, I popped so hard for that. I was so happy. I mean, we all knew it was happening, but I think as we get closer to him having some kind of a feud with Cody Rhodes, that's when I think we'll see him go heel, because I don't think they're going to turn Cody Rhodes heel at all. I
Right.
do not think that's going to
I
happen.
don't see it either.
I don't see it. I mean, he's their new face of the company. So I mean, he's got little kids that love him and stuff, and I don't think that, WWE, I don't think they would risk losing that.
Right.
Disappointing that fan base. And plus, they cater something our friend Blaze made us, both Denise and I, aware of, was they have to also cater to casual fans. And it's like, I don't
Right.
really think about that a whole lot because I watch wrestling, but casual fans know who Cody Rhodes is, and they're not going to, again, run the risk of losing those fans to turn him heel. So I think
Yeah.
if
They
anybody's going
know who Cody Rhodes is thanks to Roman Reigns, who was holding it down
exactly.
these past few years. And, as great a job I think he did, people got to the point that they just wanted to see something new. And I get it. With pro wrestling, people do want to see new things. I still do think Roman did a great job.
Oh yeah.
Cody Rhodes, I'm not a fan. I just feel like they spent a whole year trying to build him up to get to this point, and a lot of people got a little bit tired of it. So now he's champion, and people aren't exactly happy with what's going on. It's going to take some time, and by the time like
Yeah.
Randy would get in line to feud with Cody, I think it's going to take it's going to be like past the summer, way past the summer, maybe
Oh yeah,
late
for
this
sure.
year.
For sure. I think it'll be past probably SummerSlam before we even start to see anything develop
Right.
by means of Cody and Randy in some kind of a feud together. So
Right. He needs a wrestler that would give him a really great feud, and Randy's definitely that guy.
Oh yeah,
big time. Agreed.
most definitely, most definitely. So, all right, what is the next topic, Mitch? Is the France crowd the best crowd of all time?
Mm. I've heard so many mixed reaction about it. So many people said it just sounded like noise, but not in a good way. Um,
I
I don't know.
have
I,
heard
I
people say that.
hmm, I did prefer the crowd from last year Backlash. I would say that. I would say that.
Okay.
It's really hard to tell because in terms of a whole show, they were amazing, absolutely amazing crowd. And the thing is that those places that hardly get these type of shows are so hungry for pro wrestling
Oh
that if
yeah.
you go anywhere throughout Europe or the Caribbean or even South America, which I can't even think a time that they've gone there, these people would probably blow the roof off with just their noise. So for me, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. They showed how much they loved WWE. What I was really, really surprised about was how much love AJ Styles was getting. I think he's phenomenal. No pun intended. But um, it's like we were showing love to Cody, but they loved AJ so much more in that moment.
Yeah.
And for Cody to be the champion, and it seemed like majority preferred AJ, I thought that was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was a great match too.
It's
Yeah,
about time.
yeah. I mean, if they weren't like louder than like, because I remember reading on Twitter, I think it was but like before, was it before Backlash, but after SmackDown, that like Cody literally couldn't even hear himself and AJ talk during their segment because the crowd was so loud.
Wow.
And I'm just
That's
like, oh,
amazing.
that's great. I mean, yeah, they want that pop. That's what they want. They love that. But it's just, I agree with you, Tati. I mean, it can be like they're taking away from the show. It's like they are the show at some points.
Right. I agree.
I was gonna say that's kind of how I felt. Like it was. I thought it was fantastic, just how interactive they were, how engaged they were.
Yes.
Um, and but at some point it's like it was almost for me kind of distracting from being able to
Mm,
focus on what I was seeing in the ring, because it's like, okay, what, instead I'm thinking, okay, now what are they singing, what are they saying now?
right.
Like I was trying to keep up with what it is they were saying. And I didn't find out that they were calling AJ Styles phenomenal until after the show was all done and it had come out in like news outlets and stuff, that they were saying something to the effect that calling him phenomenal, which is really cool.
Right.
um but yeah, it was almost distracting at certain points from the match. I mean, it
Hmm.
wasn't really, I don't think like overall it wasn't anything really to write home about. I think the crowd really made Backlash, I really do.
Right.
um but yeah, I thought that crowd was great. I mean, and it's neat because I noticed when I was watching Raw, the playback of Raw, 'cause I had to record it. I couldn't start watching it when it actually started.
Hmm.
But when I was watching it, I noticed that the crowd here now is starting to do some of the stuff that the crowd over in France was doing, like
They
during
better.
like during Jey Uso's entrance, they busted out the fireflies again for Jey Uso, and
Hmm.
they've been singing more, which is really really neat to see. Because I think the superstars appreciate it. I think Pat and Michael Cole and Corey Graves, the rest of the announcers, I think they all really enjoy it, and it makes them feel good too when the crowd is lively and interactive. I think it makes everybody.
Absolutely.
It just adds to everybody's experience, and it makes it more enjoyable. But yeah, that crowd was nuts. Holy cow,
Absolutely.
they were so loud. Did you see at certain points during the pay-per-view, like the one camera was like literally it was shaking. It was like going up
Shaking.
and down.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Crazy.
what
Absolutely
the
crazy.
hell?
Yeah.
That was nuts. It was just nuts. So I'd be interested to know like what the decibel levels were
There
for
is
all of
hell
for
a lot
the
louder
crowd
than what
there.
it should have been.
Oh my gosh. And imagine if it would have been like one of the pay-per-views like WrestleMania, where they've got tens of thousands of people, not 12,000, they've got 70,000 people. Can you imagine how loud that would be?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Holy
agree.
cow.
I mean, like for me, I think it's really important for crowd to participate. Like you're part of the show too, and it's important for the wrestlers to have the crowd feel like they're part of the show too. And in the U.S., we take that for granted because these shows come around so often that we don't really think of it. Like me, when I go to wrestling shows, I always leave without being able to say anything because my voice is usually gone, and that's how it's supposed to be. Like you're supposed to go and have
Your
fun.
throat hurts so
And
bad.
right. And I get bothered when I see people just sitting there and just not saying anything or not doing anything. I can't tell you how many wrestling shows I go to and people are just on their phones playing, going on Facebook and things like that. I'm just like, you could just go home and do that, you know? It's just wrestling needed something like that. I think Backlash kind of has this reputation now where it's just like every year keep this going type of thing. And we had that with Puerto Rico last year. Here we have France. Who knows where they go next year? And we'll see if they're even louder. I would like that.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what happens at the next international show, to see how that crowd, because I think now, after this happened with the crowd in France, I think they've kind of made it a kind of a benchmark, for me anyway. It's kind of a benchmark. So now I'm
Mhm.
going to measure up every international crowd to that France crowd and see,
Yep.
okay, are they louder than the France crowd? Are they not as loud? Are they about the same? How do they measure up? How interactive are they? And I completely agree. I mean, I think wrestling is interactive. They want crowd participation. Why do you
Yeah.
think the crowd sings Cody's song and Seth's song and Shinsuke Nakamura's song and Jey Uso? Like, people have been singing certain theme songs for a while, and I think Backlash just this year just kind of gave it a little bit of a nudge
Right.
forward,
Mhm.
um, which is cool. What do you think, Denise?
No, I agree with you on that. Because I mean, we do have 2 international shows coming up. We have Saudi Arabia next weekend, and then in June we have actually no, I lied, 3. Saudi, and then Clash in Scotland, and then Money in the Bank's going to be in Toronto. So I mean, that's
That's
4
three in a row.
years in a row
Mm.
that are international. Oh,
Well, then
I
you
like
have Bash in
to
Berlin.
this. And
Berlin, right?
Berlin.
You got Bash in
Yeah.
Berlin too, which is a new one, which is, I think that's so cool.
Yep. No, I
Yeah,
like
you're
that.
Yeah, you're right. I think the international crowds, we're spoiled. We have WWE, AEW, TNA, we get house shows, we've got SmackDown and Raw and
Yeah.
Dynamite and Collision and Rampage, and then TNA. I know they don't travel, but we've got all of this wrestling. Like I told Earl this months ago. I said, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. We have so many
Absolutely.
options. You could watch wrestling 7 nights a week if you really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, there's so much of it out there, and the folks overseas, they don't get the live shows like we get. Like you said, Tati, I think we're just super spoiled by it.
Yep.
That for us, it's very common. For them, it's not. They can't just on a Monday night or Friday night go see a WWE show,
Right.
go see Raw or SmackDown. They don't have that option. I mean, they've got independent wrestling that's regular over there, but nothing
Hmm.
to the level
Nothing
of
big.
yeah, nothing big like WWE or AEW. Like, they don't have that. So I think we really do take it for granted.
Yeah.
But I think it would be fantastic if they started doing some more regular pay-per-views, or more, maybe even just more tours overseas for
Yeah,
the
I
crowd,
agree.
for those crowds over there. And I think that this crowd in France, I think, is kind of made them see, hey, this is something we really should get serious about.
Absolutely. For WrestleMania too. I hope so. Go overseas. A lot of
Oh my
people come
gosh.
overseas to the US. They can go
Yes.
overseas and they'll make so much money.
Oh,
They'll
can you
have people
imagine?
going from wherever in the world just to be at WrestleMania. So in my opinion, it doesn't really matter as long as it's within a time. So like here's the only complaint people have been having about the international shows is the times because we're so used to
Yeah.
these pay-per-views on at a certain time, but then now it's really, really, really early depending on where they are. So that's the only thing I see people complaining about. Not a big deal, but if they were to do something with like WrestleMania, they would have to be very strategic in terms of what time it would air for those in the
Good
US
point.
as well.
That's a
Mhm.
really good point. And that's why I have no problem when they do the international shows. I'm sorry. I am totally cool with being done with watching a pay-per-view at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I have the rest of my
Day.
Saturday
I
afternoon or
agree. I
Saturday night.
agree.
If would be
Oh,
great.
you just remind me. They're talking about Sunday pay-per-views. How do you feel about that?
Yes, I was going to say that. I did a couple of AEW, like I did Revolution with Earl, and I was smart because I'm like, this is Sting's final match. Like, this is his swan song. I am not
Mhm.
missing this. I don't care if I have to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm watching this. So I actually was smart and I took the next day off of work because I was like,
Ah.
I'm like, I'm not going to be getting up at 5 a.m. to like start getting ready for work after being up super late. But yeah, it's tough with it being on Sundays. Like, I mean, I guess as of um, if the pay-per-views for AEW and WWE, if they coincide on the same weekends, I don't have a problem if they're on Sunday because then I don't have to pick and choose which one I watch live. I can watch them both
Right.
live,
Mhm.
and I'm perfectly fine with that. It's just it gets kind of tricky if they both want to do them on a Saturday. However, I guess with AEW, the only one really we have to be concerned with international is All In, because they've
Mm.
taken that to Wembley Stadium, last year and this year. Um, but yeah, I don't mind the early ones. Like I wish if they were doing it on a Sunday, I'd be cool if they were to do it in the afternoon
Yeah,
because
early Sunday.
well, and we all know Tony Khan, he they book so many matches for their
Oh, yes.
pay-per-views. They
So
book
many.
so many matches. It's like you've got 12 matches plus a couple on they'd always do a couple of pre-show matches too.
Mhm.
And it
Absolutely.
just it makes it for a very, very long show.
Right.
Um,
But I've
very long
noticed they
show.
try to keep the main show 3 hours. I've noticed last past pay-per-views, they've actually like have a cutoff time exactly at 11 o'clock where they just stop the feed. I
Oh,
don't know if you realize when Sting, after his last match, Darby kept trying to rush him because the 11 o'clock it's off. And they end
yep,
up cutting Sting's speech because that's the time that they, I guess, plan for it to be over.
yeah.
And
The cameras, I remember
well,
that.
I felt like they could have kept it going for Sting at least, but in the
Yeah,
future, I think it's great. Main card, 3 hours. Don't try to give like a billion matches within those 3 hours, and I think it's great because there's times that it's gone way past midnight for some of those pay-per-views for AEW in the past. WWE would never do that, but for a Sunday night, it's super late for you to
oh
keep your
yeah.
pay-per-view going on after midnight. It's late.
That's why I was so excited when WWE went to Saturday pay-per-views because I'm like, this is great. It doesn't
Better.
matter if it's how many hours it is. I don't care because I can sleep in on Sunday. It's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
But I heard something that Dana White is trying to move their pay-per-views to Sunday now. And
I
I'm
don't
like,
I don't
you
like
have got
that.
to be kidding me. Yeah, I read something about it online. So who knows how true it is? I mean, it may very well be a load of garbage, but I heard that I read something that Dana White was saying like something specific for UFC will be on Saturdays and WWE
Mhm.
events will be on Sundays. And I'm like,
I don't like
oh,
it.
that sucks. I don't like that either. Because then that's going to make people have to pick and choose between watching WWE. WWE or AEW. Like,
Right.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
And because AEW have all their pay-per-views, their dates already and
Yep.
venues for the rest of the year, WWE
Yep.
does not. So WWE can just come out of the blue and say, well, hey, we're going to give you um Survivor Series during Wrestle Dream. Like they can easily do that at
Yeah,
this
you
point.
can't. No.
And people don't want to see that. So there would be the two main wrestling promotions having pay-per-views on Sundays. Meanwhile, we have like New Japan that does usually Fridays or Saturdays, and then TNA usually Saturdays. And people prefer Saturdays over doing on Sundays. Now I was okay with AEW doing Sundays because it's just like, all right, you guys don't have as much pay-per-views. But now Tony Khan has added a couple of pay-per-views to the year. And now it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it seems like you got a pay-per-view every month.
Yeah, I think Earl brought it up last year, like in the fall time when we were doing, I think it was during one of the Dynamite watch-alongs we did.
Mhm.
That Earl brought it up that Tony Khan said they want to make it so that there's an AEW pay-per-view every month starting in 2024, and he's well on his way
Yeah.
to doing that. I mean, he's already added a couple so far. Already this year, he's added a couple for later this year. So
Yeah.
I just don't want there to be any conflict. Like, I like both AEW and WWE. I just want to be able to watch both of them
Absolutely.
without feeling like I'm having to pick a side. Who do I like more or less? I don't want to have to do that.
I agree. I don't pick a side either. I always tell people I am not pro WWE, I'm not pro AEW, I am pro wrestling. Wherever there's
I
great
like
wrestling,
both.
that's where I'm gonna be.
I like both, and it's fine to like both.
Absolutely. And here's the
Yeah,
thing
they do
though,
have a big
in terms
roster.
of competition, yeah, that they do. When it comes to competition, like let's say they did have pay-per-view at the same time, people would easily watch WWE, not in terms of popularity, but because of cost. AEW is still charging $50 for pay-per-views.
That is a really good
And
point. That's a really,
Peacock
really good point.
Peacock could get it for just a couple of dollars a month and it's included. Well, I did hear that they were
Yeah,
going to raise their
$11.
prices.
Yeah, it's like
I did
it's
hear.
going up, I think, to $13.99. It's $11.99 now. I think it's going up to
Yeah,
$13.99
for the premium.
for the premium one, which is the one I get because I don't like to have to watch commercials. So I just pick the kind where I don't have
I feel like
any
I'm
of
the
my
only
streaming
one that's
services.
cool with it. I'm cool with commercials. I don't know. I guess we
It
grew up
just
watching commercials and I'm all right with it.
if it would be different commercials, but it seems like it's the same like
Same.
four
Yeah, that
commercials
I
they
agree.
show. Oh my goodness, it drives me crazy. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I didn't even realize the whole cost of it,
Yeah.
and it's not like we can go back and watch it at a late, the AEW pay-per-view at a later time. Um you can't, like, until they get some kind of a streaming service deal going,
Yes, they need that
you
so
know,
bad.
it sucks. It really sucks. So I really hope they don't do that where they make the WWE pay-per-views on Sundays, because I think that really could be hurt. It really could hurt um, AEW. It could hurt, their bottom line. It'll definitely hurt the fans from not being able to watch it as
Hmm.
much. Because I think you're absolutely right. People are going to go with the cheaper option,
Absolutely.
and that's WWE right now. Even their ticket prices for their live shows are less expensive as well. Um, yeah, I remember looking at tickets because I was like, maybe I can find a cheap flight and go out there for Revolution to watch Sting's final match. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to go and do that, I don't want to get cheapy seats. I want good seats.
Yeah.
And yeah, seats, they were floor seats on like the aisle, like the entrance aisle where all the wrestlers come out. It was the
Hmm.
two seats in the very first row. So like you are right there. They were like
Right.
$2,000
Each.
each.
Ah,
I'm like,
whoa.
yeah, I'm not paying $5,000 just for the tickets for the
No way.
show, much less the hotel, the flight. I'm like,
It all,
yeah.
I can vouch for that. It all adds up very quick,
I
and it
I
hurts.
wouldn't. I couldn't do it. Not for
I
that
just,
price.
nope, sorry. I'm like, I'm perfectly happy just sitting at my home paying $50 and watching it at home and
Right.
getting to be on doing the live stream with Earl and my friends, and we're cracking jokes and having a great time. I'm like, I'm perfectly happy doing that.
I agree. I agree.
So, all right. Well, I think we kind of talked about backlash a little bit too. I think the next topic that Mitch had was for us to rate backlash. So,
Mm.
a scale of 1 to 10. So, you can think about it. I know what I would rate it because I made notes. So, I personally would give backlash, I'd give it an 8, and that is because of the crowd. The matches, they weren't anything like sensational. They really weren't anything like over the top. Um, oh my gosh. Did you just see that comment Dylan made? I looked for tickets when they were in Toronto. It was 4K.
Whoa. Oh no.
Holy crap. Hey Dylan, how's it going? Yeah, that's wild, man. Jeez.
Wow.
Um, but no, I would give it an 8. Like I said, it was only 5 matches, so to me that was great. I figured they would have some backstage segments. They might show commercials or something like they did when they did Elimination Chamber. They kept during having commercial breaks and showing stuff for tourism in Australia. I figured they
Mm-hmm.
might do something like that for for the France for the for France.
Right.
But yeah, I like the fact it was only 5 matches. They kept a really good pace. They kept things moving. Um, but yeah, that crowd was great. I mean, it did get a little crazy sometimes, or like I said before, I had a hard time really focusing on the match instead of,
Mm-hmm.
being able to listen to what the crowd was saying. Like there were times where it was even hard to hear what the announcers were saying because that crowd was
Right.
so overwhelmingly loud. But I think it just added to the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It added to
Absolutely.
the overall environment. Um, I especially liked um, Jay Uso's entrance when he was up in the stands and coming down and all the fireflies. I mean, that visual of those fireflies
Right.
bouncing up and down with him when he's in the ring, that was so neat. That just looked so cool to me. And then they sang Randy Orton's theme song, which I don't think no crowd has ever done before. So that kind of made me pause, say, "Oh wow, like they're actually singing it. This is
Right.
awesome." Um, so yeah, I would give it an 8, but mostly because of the crowd. But AJ and
Right.
Cody's match was fantastic. That match was great.
Mm-hmm.
5-star match. I'm trying to
They
think of the
both
last
that
time
match
Big
was
Belter gave a 5-star match.
yeah. There was not a thing wrong with that match in my eyes.
And
Not
And
a
I beg
thing.
to differ. I
I
beg to
liked
differ.
it.
Cody ruined, well, I don't want to say ruined. He did mess up that super cutter that he was going for right before the crossroads. So
Oh
like for
yeah,
me,
right.
so as a wrestling fan,
Forgot about
I am a little bit more critical. I would give it a 7 out of 10. I look at the matches, the crowd and everything, that's all great. For me, my favorite part of pro wrestling is what goes on in the ring. And in terms of match qualities, just give it overall a 7. I did think that Cody and AJ was the best from top to finish to me. Um, I was really disappointed with the women's tag team match. I don't know what was going on. Looked like miscommunication. It
yeah.
looks like I can't really. But when it comes to women wrestling, we really wanted to succeed, and I was disappointed. And I've told people that I feel like even WWE at some point felt like Jade wasn't 100% ready to be in the ring. And I still believe that at this point. I don't know why they didn't put her in NXT. I'm so surprised that they wouldn't have put her through there. She didn't
Oh,
get
I've
the
been saying
best
that since they announced she was
experience.
coming over.
Right. I don't think she got the best
She needs to go to
experience
NXT.
in AEW. I don't know if you guys watched AEW, but
Yep.
all her matches were squash matches. I cannot think
Oh
of,
yeah, all of them. They drive me nuts.
on average, her matches were like 3 to
2
5
minutes.
minutes
Not
on
yeah.
average.
2.
Once
Yep.
in a while, she had something that was over 5 minutes. Once in a while, and honestly, I couldn't
Yep.
even tell you who their opponents were. You know, they kept the title on her, and while I think that she absolutely has the star look, she has the quality and everything. She's super athletic. I don't think she's a great wrestler, and I think that she can get there, but they're rushing to put her out there.
Mhm.
And it's just like, don't need to rush. We know a good thing when we see one. Give her some time to get there. Her going to NXT would have been great for her. And for whatever reason, they're looking at it as a no, she's too big of a name for her to be in NXT. I don't think that's true. Look at Becky was
No.
just over there with the women's title. So it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I don't think Jade was too big for NXT. I think she could have gone over there. And now she's tag champion with Bianca, and the match was not so great. And I know she knows that.
Bianca, I feel like Bianca carried that match. Um,
I agree.
I feel like there were so many botches like in that women's match. And I think it was just not being able to either communicate or
Yeah.
not being able to understand. And um, I'm not saying this to be hateful or to be mean or racist or anything, but if you cannot communicate effectively in the native language, then be you should have to take some ESL classes so that you or being able be taught like hand signals or hand cues
Mm-hmm.
for whether it's from the other wrestlers or from the referees or some other person that you know what's going on. And I think that just not being able to understand might be
Oh yeah.
the
No, you're
reason why
right.
that happened. And I'm not, like I said, I am not saying that to be mean or anything, but it's like then I think anybody, and that's no matter if you're Hispanic, if you are from the Middle East, if you are from Asia, like if you cannot speak and understand English, which is
Mm-hmm.
the main language they use, then WWE should be sending them for classes so they understand
Mhm.
Right.
because
Right.
somebody could get really really hurt. Like I'm just glad that none of those girls got hurt.
Right. You could tell there was a miscommunication because at times it almost seemed like the ref wasn't sure what was going on. Um,
Yeah,
AEW, they switch referees. Like for Japanese wrestlers, they would bring a New Japan referee onto a show
you're
when they
right.
have Japanese wrestlers. That's
Yeah,
something that WWE is going to have to consider too if this is going
that's
to
a good
be an
idea.
issue long term.
Yeah,
Asuka was in the ring too. I know she could have helped out as well, but she can't be in the ring the entire time
no,
to
no,
call things, and the referee has to be able to communicate with everyone. So I don't want to put everything on Jade, but that was also a huge situation with that match too. So it could be very dangerous if everyone's not on the same page.
yeah. Because I think there was at one point we heard the referee saying, "Kyrie, you're something to the effect of Kyrie, you're not, or you got tagged," or he was saying something to Kyrie, like trying to
I
like get her
remember
attention,
that.
so she knew she had to go out of the ring, and Asuka had to come in. Like she didn't know, or she wasn't aware that they needed to swap. Her and Asuka needed to
Hmm.
swap spots in the ring, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it just it's not a good look. But I
Yeah.
agree. I do think that they're trying to rush Jade, and they really shouldn't be because she could end up hurting herself or someone else.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What do you
Absolutely. Like
think,
they're
Denise. No, I
Oh, sorry.
Um, oh well, I was gonna say that with her being because she's also in the tournament as well too, which kind of surprised me. that she was there. That really shows how much over there in a rush they are to showcase her. Now, in terms of her winning, I don't know, but it just really feel like with her being in the tag team with Bianca, I really do believe Bianca will carry her, and that's going to be so easy for people to see. They're going to realize, oh,
Yeah.
Jade, she looks like a star, but she's not there yet. This is why I feel like that's the issue of why, like, I wouldn't have changed titles that night. I would have had them retain and work on Jade some more. I know everybody's been saying since way before Jade got there, oh, Jade and Bianca. And they're literally giving us that as soon as she gets there, which is so crazy to me. I never expected for it to be this quick.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, no, I agree with the both of you, like completely with everything you're saying. I mean, I don't watch AEW, so I didn't know who Jade was until she came to WWE. And like I even remember talking about it during the watch alongs late last year that like we all had a feeling that she was going to get thrown into the Royal Rumble, and that's exactly what happened. And we all knew that she wasn't like ready for it and
Right.
everything. I mean, like that was the first, you bring her into a new company, that's the first match you throw somebody into. That's a little overwhelming.
Right.
And I mean, like you don't want that kind of like attention. I mean, like, and she didn't even, I mean, yeah, she was like brought in like at the beginning of the year. That was her first match. Like she didn't even have a match until the Royal Rumble, and even after that, she wasn't in any matches. I mean, no, yeah, I agree with you guys that she definitely should have gone into NXT. Like she would have thrived there, and then
Absolutely.
you could have brought her to either Raw or SmackDown and let her like show her true potential there on top of what she already knew and what she learns at NXT. Like she would have been like unstoppable like Bianca.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I think we said that too, because I remember, I mean, they kept her in the performance center for 7 months before they had her come out for the Royal Rumble, and that was her first time out. Don't you think she could have done with, being in NXT? I mean, still have her be in the performance center and practice and all of that, but I think it would have done her a world of difference
Oh
to
yeah.
be in NXT.
Hmm.
I mean, we do it with everybody else. Why is she the exception to the rule? I
I
mean,
agree.
you want her to learn the WWE way of doing things. I mean, she had a decent foundation, I think, from her time in AEW, basic concepts and such. But
Right.
if you really want her to learn the way WWE does things, then you need to treat her just like you do everybody else that comes in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was kind of that was rough. That was a rough match to get through. But what did you think of as a whole, Denise, about Backlash?
I'm with you, Sarah. I'd give it an 8. I mean, and then with like I even like before like this, not talking to either one of you about like the results and everything of Backlash and everything. I mean, even me too, like the only match that really like lost my attention was the tag team match, the women's tag team match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just like there wasn't even that chemistry. Like you said, there's so many botches. There was like so much going on. It's like, what is this and everything? I mean, like my two favorite were the tag team at the beginning, Randy and Kevin versus Tama and Solo, and Cody and AJ. Those two definitely stole the show, in my opinion, for sure.
I agree.
Do you guys think, I just thought of this, do you guys think that maybe the volume of the crowd perhaps distracted them in that ladies' tag match? Like it kind of threw them off of it
Possible. It's
because
I
they
definitely
never
weren't
possible.
used
even
to
thought
it?
of that.
I just thought of that when Denise was speaking about it. I was like, oh. I wonder if it maybe the crowd just threw everybody off, and it could have been the sheer volume in there, and that's why Kyrie didn't know, or Jade or whoever, they just couldn't understand or communicate very well, just because of the noise that was going on in there. But I think again
Right.
that goes to, you've got to have people in the put people in those situations that you are 101% certain they can handle themselves correctly if they're put in a situation like that or
Mhm.
in an environment like that.
Absolutely. I agree. I know they probably wasn't expecting the reaction to be that way,
Oh God, no.
but you have to remain professional regardless. Like if you're taken aback by the reaction, so you still got to keep your head in the game, you know. That is possible that that could have been the case, but it seemed to have been something that happened throughout the match. If it happened like one time, then I would have understood. But at some point, it just seemed like is nobody's on the same page anymore. Like, and that's you don't want to get to that point when it comes to
You're
wrestling.
right. You're right. You're right. You've got to rely on, just like how your partner relies on you, you need to be able to rely on your partner in
Absolutely.
situations. You got to have good chemistry between the two people on the team, but then the two teams need to have that communication or that
Oh yeah.
chemistry with each other as well. Like between
Hmm.
the four people in the ring, it's like you guys. That's why sometimes I almost think that tag team wrestling's a little bit more trickier than singles wrestling, because you
Oh
have a whole
yeah.
other person that's relying on you to know your cues and know your moves and do the right move at the right time and make sure you're hitting things correctly and you're
Mhm.
setting up your opponent to be in the right spot for when they come in the ring. Like, I almost think it's a little bit more trickier. It
Oh
is
yeah.
trickier, I think, you know to do the tag team wrestling than singles wrestling.
Mhm.
But
I always say like you can't just put anybody in a tag team together. You can
no.
always tell the ones that've been doing it for a long time. Like
Mhm.
Edge and Christian, they're not actual brothers, but since they were
Oh
teenagers,
my
they've been in
god.
the ring together. They have absolute chemistry when they're going against each other. They
Oh yeah.
are like they just it's like this twin thing they got going on. Same thing with the Hardys. They're brothers, so they've
Yes.
been fighting since toddlers, I guess. But you can
Yeah.
really tell who's have chemistry because they've actually had the time to grow. You can't just say, well, Bianca, so look, I'm black and I'm going to say it. Bianca and Jade, they look great together, two black beautiful women who kind of share the same body type, but that's not enough when it comes to being
No.
a tag team. You guys have to have that chemistry. I don't think prior to this that they really had any experience to see how things work between them because something looks
Yeah.
good doesn't mean you're going to get the best out of it. I wish they would have given them some time to really work with each other. The great thing about WWE is that they have house shows. They can practice these things. They can see how the audience feel about these things. And then from there, they could take it to TV. They really had no time to do anything with Jade and Bianca before putting the titles on them. So I hope all the best for them, but I don't know in terms of chemistry.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's tough. I guess we'll just have to, I guess time will tell. We'll just have to wait and see what transpires.
Mhm.
And I know I've been hearing all over now, or not just hearing, but like reading mostly. People are saying that they're gonna be putting Bianca and Jade against each other. Like they're gonna make them split them up and put them in a feud, against one another. I'm like, they just won the tag titles. Like, can't you
Right,
guys
right.
just let it sit for a minute? Can you just digest it for a little bit?
Shame.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
like, oh my goodness.
timing is so important with wrestling. Like, don't rush. There are certain things that are
Yeah.
worth taking your time for. And like I said, Jade has not been in the ring, as obviously not as long as Bianca. And not to put her down, she's not at the level of Bianca in terms of being in a singles run to go against Bianca in the feud. She's just not there yet. But people want that right now. And I'm just like, don't you guys want her to build some experience before we get to that point? Because that right there, her having a feud with someone like Bianca and not being able to hang with her is a bad look for her. So as a company, you don't want your superstars to look bad. So you're going to want to put them in favorable positions where it's just like, all right, she's not ready yet. Let's have her do other things to build her up to get to that point, and the fans just going to have to wait on that.
Mhm.
Oh no, I completely agree. I mean, I want to see Jade when she goes back to being a single, like when her and Bianca with this tag team when they're done. I want to see her actually do more than just squash matches when she has a singles match.
Mm,
And every time since she's come out in the Royal Rumble, what have they done when she's had single matches? It's been nothing but squash matches. And it's
same thing
like,
like AEW.
I was just gonna say, same thing AEW did, like the old tried and true. I'm like, you're you're not doing this girl any favors. I mean, what the heck did you have her doing for 7 months in the performance center for crying out loud?
Absolutely. But
Mhm.
in Jade defense though, I see this a lot in pro wrestling where a promotion will look at wrestlers that are considered powerhouses. Like look at Braun Breaker. His first match was also 5 seconds or something like that. And it's just like they
No,
want you to
right?
believe this strong person's gonna be able to get something done in a couple of seconds. Now, maybe that looks cool when you say it out loud, but it really doesn't show the fans anything. It doesn't show what Braun can do. It doesn't show what Jade can do. 2 seconds, that's nothing. Nothing at
Mhm.
all. So,
I hate squash matches. Yeah.
AEW does the same thing, unfortunately. They look
Oh
at the
yeah, they
big
do.
wrestlers and they just say, hey, squash every single time. And when they do stuff like that, those are the wrestlers that they have the hardest time building because they only see them to be one way and just someone to just come in and power slam or I don't know, Jade, what she does, Jaded, right? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, the jaded.
Yeah, Jade, right. So
Jaded.
it looks great, but it's not enough to show what kind of wrestler that they are. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it stinks. I know they've done it with Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs in AEW.
Oh,
All those guys that ever hardly have squash matches. I'm like, I am so sick of seeing Wardlow. I said this to Earl at one point. I said, I'm so sick of every single time I watch Dynamite and Wardlow's in the
sick of
ring,
it.
it's just 4 or 5 power bombing somebody to death, and then he wins the match, and you've got a 1.5, 2 minute match. I'm like, this
Hmm.
is lame. This is
Oh, and
stupid.
let me point this out. Both Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs are both injured right now. And I find it very
Oh
interesting
wow.
because these guys are always doing squash. And by the time they finally get a match where they got like a full length match, 10 minutes or so, then all of a sudden they get injured because they're not in the ring enough. They're not in the ring
Exactly.
long enough to have like they don't do indie shows. I've never seen Wardlow or Hobbs doing indie shows since they've been signed, and obviously Jay wouldn't do the same either since she's with WWE. And when you don't have enough time to be in the ring, by the time you're in there for a good 10 minutes or so, your body tends to give out. So those guys are out right now, which is insane. Insane.
Stinks.
So
It
Mhm.
stinks. It's just crazy. I didn't know Wardlow was hurt. I heard that Powerhouse Hobbs was. I think it was his back or something. I think it
oh,
was
this
his
is
back.
I think he has several things going on, but I don't know if you
Oh
saw that
no.
match he had with Moxley. The knee just gave out, and it was really hard to watch the last few minutes of
Oh
that match.
no.
So he's been gone since then. Wardlow's been
Oh,
dealing with a knee injury, and he's just been out past few weeks too. So it's gonna take some time. That's why I said like if you don't have these guys and girls in the ring long enough and often enough, then it's not going to be a good thing for them. So I'm glad
you're
to see
absolutely right.
we're seeing Jade more often, which is great. But I don't want to see minute matches.
Yeah, that's very true. Hey Martina, how are you? Thank you
Hey.
for popping in. Um, no, I completely agree. So let's see. What is the next topic, Sir Mitchell?
You like the new block? Oh, this is right up Martina's alley.
Oh man. I was gonna say, hell yes, I love the new bloodline. Like this is I said this is the shot in the arm they needed to make it not boring. It
Hmm.
was boring. boring, boring, boring. There's only so many times I can see Roman Reigns. Now, I'm not discrediting his run that he's had or um, the growth that he's had and what he's done for WWE over the last 3.5 or 4 years that he held the title. I'm not discrediting that at all. Not
Mhm.
taking it away from him in any way, shape, or form. But it was always the same finish for his matches. You had interference, the like what does Earl say? Elsie and all of her friends come out of the barn and you've got, the bloodline coming down to run interference and the
Mhm.
referee gets knocked out of the ring and then he miraculously comes to after they're done cheating and Roman Reigns wins the match. I'm like, boring. It was
I
boring.
hear you. I hear you.
So I think this was the exact shot in the arm they needed to make this new, to make it intriguing, to make it exciting again. Um,
Mhm.
Tamatanga, he is vicious, vicious. I'm scared of him. Like he scares me with the way I know it's TV, but he freaks me out. I'm like, I have to worry about him coming out from under the ring and like whipping the crap out of somebody. Like he's
Mhm.
he's scary. He's scary. So I think this is giving a new look to the bloodline. It is. I think this is the absolute right call.
I agree. Well, I would say I could understand like what you were saying, like the matches were predictable in terms of finishes and things like that, which I wasn't a fan of. I kept saying Roman needs to win clean. Give it to us a
Yes.
few times. What's wrong with him
Yes.
winning clean? There was a way for them to show loyalty of the bloodline without him having to depend on them to win every single pay-per-view, but then the referee being
Yeah.
knocked out for God knows how long. And it was like becoming very repetitive. And in this case, I could understand why some fans was like, you know what, anybody else should be champion but Roman. And I don't want to blame Roman on this because I don't think it's him. It's literally the company booking it to be the same way every single time. And so for me, I'm just like, okay, there got to be a way where, so like last year's SummerSlam, I think is where the bloodline storyline kind of started to dwindle for me.
Fell off.
And yeah, at that point, I was just like, all right, we got to do something new. They honestly didn't. And here we have now Roman is gone, unfortunately. Um, but we have new people to bring in. Tama Tonga's there, so he can help out and make it different. We have Solo, who is, I guess, the leader of the group. We have Paul Heyman, who seems to be oblivious about everything and kind of don't want to be involved, but is involved
He's
at the
so
same time.
freaked
It's so
out.
funny.
He's so scared.
He
That
looks
look
so
he
scared.
that look he gave the look he gave Jay Uso. Oh my god. I started laughing at it because I'm like, he looks like he's a scared little kid. Like, Jacob,
Yes.
like I don't want to look at you.
It's hilarious, but we're laughing at that now, and I think that that's going to come to play when Roman Reigns get back because he's going to
Oh
use
yeah.
that as a defense. As an I was never truly in it, I was just trying to make sure I could go back to my children every night, I guess. So in that case, I get it. So do I like what they're doing? I would say yes. I think we should give it time, and it will definitely blow up some more. I know a lot of people was not expecting for Tama to be at the pay-per-view. I wasn't expecting. I know everybody kept saying Jacob Fatu. I don't know if you
Mm.
guys are
Yeah,
familiar with
everybody
Jacob.
did that's what I had been hearing was Jacob Fatu, but it was
Let
Tony
me tell you,
Solo, which
there were people even waiting during AJ and Cody's match, thinking maybe Jacob's going to come in. Then I was just like, guys, get over it. It's done. He's not
give it
coming
up.
out anymore. Right.
Give it
So
up. The moment has passed.
been passed, but there's still some people within the bloodline that are sprinkled throughout pro wrestling that can still be
Yeah.
in the storyline. So we'll see what end up
Mhm.
happening with that. So I think it's a great thing. Jacob Fatu, I don't well, he was with MLW. I don't think he's with them anymore. I know he's been at Reality of Wrestling with Booker T. So that's another good opportunity for him to go from there to making that transition to WWE. But I don't know. There's just rumors about that. Another wrestler called Hikuleo, who's from New Japan. Everybody thought he was going to be going over there too. However, New Japan is doing a hot potato with the tag titles, so he won it again on Saturday. So I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't know what's going on with New Japan and this hot potato stuff that they're doing with the titles. It's getting a little annoying right now. But I don't think we're going to see him over there. But there are other people, the Tonga twins that are from Women of Wrestling. They just left there. There's drama going on with that. I don't know if it has anything to do with maybe them wanting to go to WWE and be part of that storyline too. I don't know. But I think it's on to the great direction, and they really needed for there to be a new leader, new people to be in this. And by the time Roman comes, there'll definitely be some type of divide within the group. So I think it's going great.
What do you think, Denise?
I mean, once they brought The Rock into play is when it started grabbing my attention again. Because I mean, like I'm with Tatiana, it just started getting boring, and I was just like, this has got to stop. I'm like, I can't keep dealing with this every single week. And then The Rock brought more flavor into the bloodline. Really, he made it more. He literally brought it back to life in my eyes, and he made it more entertaining. And then they brought Tama in, and then the what is it? Loa? Is that the newest one that just came in?
Tangaloa or Tamaloa?
Tamaloa.
Tamaloa. That's it. Sorry.
I mean, I'm still trying to feel him. I mean, I'm still kind of like because I don't know who he is, but I knew who Tama Tonga was from New Japan when he was with Bullet Club, so I know what he can do. And like Sarah said, I mean, like he's a freaking savage.
Vicious. And he's so vicious, but I'm here for it.
So I mean, I am liking this new bloodline. I am intrigued to see what is going to happen when Roman comes back. I do like where this face bloodline and heel bloodline are going. This should definitely be interesting, and I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Actually, I think like when it comes to the bloodline, like they have Solo pretty much being the leader here. They have to keep it that way. I think it's really important for them to be absolutely sure about what they're doing with it, so that by the time Roman comes, that they're actually a really strong faction where it seems like Roman can't really break this. You know what I mean? I don't think it would be great for them to be feuding within themselves. They need to be really solid by the time Roman comes back, and then wherever the story goes from there. But it's really important for them to really show what they can do with this faction, because Roman, he's been a star for a really long time, and when you have factions like this that's surrounded by a big star like Roman, you want those who are involved to also get a piece of the cake too. And you want to see them succeed. Now that he's out the way, what are you going to do with those people who were already in the group and those that you bring in? I think that's super important when you do something like this. This was something that I thought of like with AEW. Jade had her own group called the Baddies, where there was her and a whole bunch of girls, and it was just like, okay, Jade is looking like a star, but the other girls are not. You know what I mean? It's like you got to take your girls with you to that place too. And it's just like you can't build one person in a whole group without having everyone else get a little piece of that too. And I do think that in terms of the Bloodline storyline, everybody has gotten a little shine from it, which is great. But now that Roman's out the picture, we got to see how big of a star these guys can be without him.
Without Roman being in the spotlight, because he literally was the center of attention when they were all like out and involved in everything. The only time he really wasn't was when Solo was interfering in matches.
Hey, I'll give it to Solo. He's everybody wants a Solo in their lives. Trust me, he's always down to be in Roman's corner, and I absolutely appreciate that. but we didn't need that every single match.
Mm-mm.
It's nice to see Solo do something other than just go and interfere in matches and stand around and not say anything. It's really nice for me to be able to see him like coming out of his shell a bit,
Mhm.
um, with his promo work and the interactions backstage. It's really, really nice. I mean, we all know he's good in the ring, but it's really nice to see that other him come out of his shell a little bit on that other side of it too.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that who was it? Somebody made a comment. Dylan and then Martina made comments. Um, yeah, they want to see Naomi in the bloodline, and or Dylan asked if maybe we'll see
Ah.
Naomi in the bloodline, and then Martina said that she would like to see Naomi and Naya in the bloodline. And I think that is a
Oh,
fantastic
that would be pretty
idea.
cool.
Bring some
I think that
people.
would be so awesome. Have
Yeah.
them get involved. I think that would be great.
Because then you're actually doing something with them instead of just throwing them in whatever match.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Whatever
instead
they
of
are.
them, they're part of a bigger picture rather than just having just kind of nothing matches. They're actually part of
Yeah.
a really big, solid storyline.
Mhm.
My only worry now with this whole thing and Roman going away now, Earl has reported that Roman is not going to be back on TV again until the night before SummerSlam on the SmackDown, which is the night before SummerSlam.
Mhm.
How in the world is he going to be involved? You know what I mean? So does that mean he's coming
So
back and
soon.
staying? Like, is he going to regularly be around, or is he going to show up at SummerSlam and then go away for a month or two? Like, has
Mm.
that, because that's been the trend for him. And I'm not seeing this like in like knocking anybody because we all know Roman's part time, but it's like, you
Oh, that's
know,
too
is
soon. I
that's
think
what
that's
I'm,
way too soon. You
I
know,
think that,
Roman's he's doing movies, spend some time with your children, go on a vacation or two or three. There's no rush. There's no rush.
yeah, and Roman's got quite a big family. So I mean, I'm sure he wants to spend time with his kids, and his wife and his other family members. But yeah, they said he's coming back on the SmackDown, which is the night before SummerSlam. So I'm like,
Mm,
is that too soon? Is that not soon enough? I mean, I know people are clamoring for Roman to be back, but I think we have to give this new bloodline a chance. We got to let it cook and simmer a little
oh
bit,
yeah,
They got
yeah.
you know?
months to
I
do it.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know I speak for the ladies when I say I know we don't mind seeing Roman Reigns for sure, but obviously too soon. Too soon for the story, you know, because
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
wouldn't imagine that he would come and be on a full-time schedule. If he were to be on a full-time schedule, maybe it'd make a little bit more sense. But for him to just come and make an appearance and then just leave after that, I don't think that that would help what's going on with the bloodline right now in terms of the storyline.
No,
Agreed.
no. I don't think it would help at all. I definitely don't think it would help for sure. I think it would end up doing more harm than good. To him show
Yeah,
up for 2 nights and then he's gone for a month or two again. It's like,
right. I
if he's
mean,
part time, then let him be part time.
it's hard to think now, like if he were to come, like what would happen for it to be beneficial for the group. You know what I mean? I don't know what they would do that would make it work regardless, you know? So I don't think it's a great idea. No.
We've been talking, I've been here, reading things that they're talking about like a good bloodline versus bad bloodline. It's like war games at Survivor Series. So it's like, okay, so what is he just going to leave then after Survivor Series? Like, what are,
Hmm.
you can't, I don't know. It's
Survivor
very,
Series?
it's very tricky.
Hmm.
Very
It
tricky. And
sounds like a good idea because you know you have you can divide groups because of Survivor Series obviously, but I would say something like that for WrestleMania. Like we said, there's no rush, you know, no rush at all. Put the Bloodline members versus another big faction in WWE, whoever that would be during that time. And that could be a way to showcase how strong they are as a team in terms of their chemistry and whatnot. And then from there, move on and, take it to WrestleMania if they want to do this good versus bad bloodline thing. I think it would be still too soon, still too soon.
I agree. Gotta let it cook. Gotta let it cook.
Agreed.
All right, Mitch, what is the next topic, sir?
He had to add
Oh.
that in.
Where does AJ Styles go from here? So yeah, he had that match with Cody, and now he's in King of the Ring.
He's not in King of the Ring.
Or not in King of the Ring.
He's not anymore.
He did have a match for King of the Ring, and I was thinking about you the entire time, Denise, while I was watching that match.
I was like, I didn't even get to watch it when it happened. I'm just like watching it afterwards, and I'm like, this already happened. Like, why am I like stressing out so bad? Like, why am I letting it bother me so bad?
Why am I torturing myself?
Like, even in the back of my head too, I was like, I already know the results of this. Why am I doing this to myself?
That's true. So what do you think, Denise? Where would you like to see, or where do you think they're gonna take AJ Styles from here?
I did read a comment that someone put on one of my posts that like, since he's out of the King of the Ring tournament, like, they don't have anything that they're doing with him unless they're just going to put him in some whatever filler match here and there until like the middle of June for Money in the Bank. And I was just like, that's a very good point. I mean, like, but like, are they going to utilize him for that? And everything? Because I mean,
Yes.
like, that's something that he needs to like accomplish too. I mean, he's been with the company for what, 8-9 years, and like, that's one thing he hasn't won yet is the Money in the Bank contract and everything. And I mean, he's expressed that he wants the title one more time before he retires. That would be the perfect way to give it to him.
That would be cool.
They'll do something with him with Money in the Bank. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great winner for Money in the Bank. I'm gonna be honest, like, since he's returned, I've just always felt like WWE didn't really have a specific plan for him. He looks to be in probably the best shape that I've ever seen him in. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't have as much time as a lot of these other wrestlers do. And I just feel like, okay, he's there, but not there type of thing. And it's just like, this is AJ Styles we're talking about, And you guys put him in the match with Cody Rhodes. And then after that, it's just like, okay, I think everyone knew that he was going to lose that match. Obviously, Cody's first title defense since winning the title. And from there, it's just like, well, what do you do with AJ? He went for the biggest prize in the company and didn't get it, And now it's like you got to take steps back with him, but where do you put him? And I do think Money in the Bank would be, I'm pretty sure if he'd win, a lot of people would be happy about that. And with him having the briefcase, that can help build him up until the point that he ends up winning the title. And I just don't seem like they have anything to do with him right now. And he's definitely one of the best guys over there. And it's not just him. There's other people too. Drew McIntyre was in that same boat a while ago. And with him and this thing with CM Punk and him blowing up on social media, finding a way to make that work out for him, he got himself out of that a little bit, if that makes sense. AJ, it's not going to be the same with him, obviously, but there has to be something for him to stand out. There's so many big names in WWE right now, and it's so hard to really focus on everyone, and unfortunately, he kind of is lost in the shuffle right now, I think.
I agree. It kind of it kind of sucks because, you know, he's had such, not just in WWE, but his career total. Like, Denise and I were talking about it a few days back. AJ has spent more than half of his life as a pro wrestler. He's 47 and he's been in
Mhm.
pro wrestling. He made his debut in 1999. So
Dang.
he's spent 25 years he's been a wrestler. So he spent more than half of his life as a pro wrestler.
I agree,
I
Martina.
definitely agree with that, Martina. He's too good to be just a random one-off match because, like you said, Tati, no matter who was facing Cody, whether it was AJ or somebody else, like we all knew that they weren't going to win. It was Cody's first title defense since
Yeah.
winning the title at WrestleMania. So to me, I'm just kind of like, whatever. Like, yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good match, but it doesn't, there's no stakes. It doesn't really mean anything because it's like
Mhm.
he's not a real, it's not a, there's no real threat there because they're not
Yeah.
going to take the title off of Cody after he just got it at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
There, I think he needs to, I don't know. So I was thinking of, you know, I don't know because I know they call it the bloodline because it's the bloodline. Everybody's in the same family. But how would it, I just think it would be kind of cool to see, since he's heel now, to see him align himself with this heel, super heel version of the bloodline, kind of how Sami Zayn
Mhm. Yeah.
initiated himself to the bloodline, and Sami Zayn aligned himself with the bloodline for many months last year. So, I mean, that could be something for him to do, but I don't think that would ever happen because of all the flack he caught from the bloodline constantly
Yeah.
beating him up and
Yeah.
interfering in his matches and all of that. I wonder
Unless
if
it
they're gonna,
benefited him in the end.
that's the other thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
he does. He looks amazing for 47. Like, it's crazy. I mean, the guy is shredded right now. I mean,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
abs have abs.
I I saw a while back. One person they commented, looks like AJ Styles ate AJ Styles from like earlier in the year. And I was like, that is hilarious.
It does.
I
It
made a
really does.
comment on when he came back in December. I made a comment on like how he looked. I mean, like everybody made a comment on how he looked because it's like, who the hell is this person? It's like he didn't look like that 2 months ago. Like what's
Right.
on? And then someone DM'd me saying, like I'm not gonna like you could go like into like Twitter and everything and like look for it. But I'm not gonna like say like who told me and everything, but and it is like a legit fact. I'm not like just saying it like it is true and everything, but the person came to me and saying like that he had done a water fast, and I was just like, a what?
What?
And unless you don't do it properly, you can like it's very not, it's like it's unsafe unless you do it the right way. Like
Whoa.
water for 72 hours straight, and then you have to wean yourself back onto food. But I also
Oh my
like
God.
yeah, and then I
I
also
couldn't.
like I think it was like a week before wrestle was it like a week before wrestle no not WrestleMania, like a week before Backlash, there was a video that WWE had posted of his like workout that he does now. It's like he does a cold plunge for 4 minutes and then he works out and then he goes into the sauna, and I'm just like,
Wow.
who the hell are, I was just like, I was floored, and I was just like, I already had respect for what he does, but I was just like, I just gained an even more respect. I was like, to put your body through that just to
Not
prepare
easy.
for a match, it's insane. And that also is helping like with how he looks now, and people, it's like, it's steroids, it's this and that. And I'm like, he's gonna be one of the last people to do steroids if you know him well enough.
Yeah, I don't think it is. It didn't. It
Not
didn't give that look
steroids.
to me.
He would never put that crap in his body. It's not who he is.
if he hasn't done it, if he didn't do it in all the other years he's been a wrestler, he is not going to start doing that stuff now.
No, exactly. Especially
There's no way.
going on 47. No.
Right. I know a lot of people look at it as in like the older wrestlers, they must be doing steroids if they look that good. And it's just like, no, they're dedicated to getting their bodies into shape, you know?
Mhm.
They're pretty much putting that standard now where it's just like, hey, there's no excuse, you know? Like Randy too, how great he looked like when he came
Oh,
back.
yeah.
It's like these guys, they're taking care of their bodies and showing that, hey, being in your 40s don't have to look a certain type of way, you know? So it doesn't mean that they're on anything, you know. Whoever's saying that, I guess probably haters. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
I mean, you got to figure too. I mean, these guys, they've been doing this for many years. You know, if you look at AJ and Randy, they've done this for many, many years. They know the drill,
Mhm.
and they know what to do and what not to do. So there's that. But then you also have to realize the resources these guys probably have at their disposal. They can have dietitians and nutritionists and special, fitness coach, workout people and all of that. They have all of these resources at their disposal to help them get their bodies to look the way they want them to look.
Mhm.
And doesn't mean you had to use drugs, for goodness sakes. I don't think that's the
Right.
case
And
at all.
it's funny you bring that up because now we have Sheamus on the opposite side of the spectrum where it's just like, okay, you're eating too much, you're fat, you're this. Like you can't be in good shape and then you can't be in not so good shape because everybody's going to find something to complain about. You know what I mean? It's just like, come on, guys.
Did
You
you
guys are looking for anything to complain about.
did you make any notice though of how much weight he lost, how much his waist went down from 1 week of Raw to the next? You know he's doing what he has to do
Mhm.
Right.
to get back to
Right.
where he needs to be, like body wise.
Wait, I thought maybe they brought him back sooner than what he thought. That's what I was guessing? Because obviously I know they would try to
That's
get
true.
themselves in shape or whatnot. I personally didn't look at him like he was fat or anything. He's in better shape than most of the people who's watching him. So I don't know what people were complaining about. I thought he looked great. I know people are used to him because he has a YouTube channel where he does his workouts and he does workouts with other wrestlers, and people are used to seeing him in a specific type of
Yeah.
shape. But
Yeah.
just because you're not there doesn't mean that you're fat or whatever. I don't know. This is just so weird. I don't know what fans are complaining about. I think he looked great.
That's what I said. I thought he probably looks better than 10 times the people that are actually watching wrestling right now. Like,
Absolutely.
sit down and be quiet.
Just shut up and enjoy it. Like, go get in the ring. Like, just get in the ring with him. He'd still kick your ass. Just shut up.
Can't he just be happy?
Please, he's Irish. He knock you down.
Well, it's I don't understand why people just can't be happy that he was gone for a really long time because he was hurt, and then he got he rehabbed enough and got himself better enough to the point where he could get back in the ring. Like, can we just be appreciative of that?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, people are just so fickle. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
It drives me absolutely crazy sometimes. But what is the next topic, Mitch?
Sorry.
I have one word for that. Boring.
No. No.
Nobody cares.
When his music played after Nick Aldis,
I was so mad.
No, Big L, Phil.
So
so
disappointing.
mad. I'm like, come on, man.
Everybody, why him?
Horrible. Horrible.
Although to be fair, we have been hearing, I mean, and Earl's talked about this quite a few times, that they don't really have any like creative plans for Cody anytime soon. So I think that's why they're just kind of picking whoever they can to try to fill in until they have something more solid creatively for him to pursue.
That's
so I don't know.
crazy.
Maybe that's why.
That's crazy.
Something
It absolutely is.
Or putting the title on him instead of just feeding him people like they were doing with Roman. That's just my opinion. I just don't want a Roman 2.0 when it comes to defending the title. I mean, obviously Cody is a full-time where Roman is part-time, but it's just like, just give him an actual feud. Give him like somebody to help elevate him as a champion. Don't just give
Yeah.
people, just don't feed him people.
Yeah, I don't
now,
like
that's
it.
a feud. Yeah, I don't either.
I really feel like, I don't know if you guys can agree, but this kind of shows that they really had no plans for Cody Rhodes. The only plan was to take the title off of Roman. They spent a
Yep.
whole year. I think maybe they already knew since a year ago that they wanted to put the title on Cody by WrestleMania 40. So you knew all this time you guys wanted to do that, and you didn't plan this out. We getting Cody versus Logan of all people. You didn't plan this at all.
No. No.
At all.
It's lazy booking. Lazy. It's like you may as well go take a member of a tag team and throw him against Cody at this point. Like, that's kind of how lazy it seems they're being. Like, it's ridiculous. And like you had mentioned a couple of minutes ago, Tati, like there are so many people. Like they have so many wrestlers in WWE. You should have a plethora of people that are qualified to have a feud with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, unfortunately, didn't plan this out. And also another thing too, Logan has that social media influence, and maybe they're doing this to also help Cody gain some popularity. He's popular, but things have definitely died down because they didn't do anything with him after WrestleMania for a while. You know what I mean? It's like, how long was he not doing anything before he finally was? I don't know. Like, it just wasn't what I was expecting. I thought he would win, probably do a promo the next time we see him, and then from there start a feud. And obviously, nothing really came from it, And like if we go back to a couple of weeks ago, Swerve Strickland wins the title. He had 3 matches in 1 week. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's just like, when you think of a champion, especially holding the biggest title in the company, you want a reigning defending champion. Sure, you don't have to be in the ring for 3 times in 1 week, but you got to keep it going. After a reign that we got from Roman, and then you kind of do nothing, people are going to compare those two things even very early on. You have a lot to live up to, Cody Rhodes, and they're not taking him to the point, even though I know it's only been like, a month or so. It's still very lazy booking right now. Let's keep the title on Cody as long as we possibly can because we made you guys wait a whole year for him to get it. It doesn't feel like there's anything solid for him to do. And I don't think that's helping him look great as a champion.
Yeah.
I would have just given it to AJ anyway.
He should have at this point. Like, well, I mean, and there were people, and I griped about this during one of the Raw watch-alongs. There were people already the week after WrestleMania happened. There were already people complaining they weren't doing enough with Cody. They're not doing anything with Cody. It's like, can we just like let it just wait, breathe a little bit, guys? Like, he just got the title a little over a week ago. Like, just it's got it. Like, give it some time. It'll start building up. And my immediate thought when Logan Paul came walking out, I'm like, oh no. I was like, they didn't think it through. They didn't have anything planned. I would think, like to your point, Tati, you guys plan this for a year with the whole feud with Roman and chasing the title. And I mean, they gave Cody a feud with Brock Lesnar of all people last year.
Like, oh yeah.
Come on. And
it was nice to see him get that beat down after WrestleMania. That was great. I loved it. Loved it.
But it's like, if you can do that where there's no explanation for it at all, because that was one of my biggest complaints. We still never found out a reason as to why Brock Lesnar attacked him the Raw after WrestleMania last year. We never found out. There was no reason behind it, no explanation for it. If you can do that, I'm sure you can figure out something more meaningful for him to do until you've got your big storyline ready for him to do. London actually posted something, a comment a little bit ago. He said that they're not going to have anything for Cody and storyline wise until SummerSlam.
Well,
Not surprised with that.
give it to AJ. Let's have AJ do something with it.
I mean, he would
Yes, just
I mean, like I said, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of time. He wants the titles. Like, give it to AJ. Let him hold it for months, and then just.
So let me ask you guys something. Do you guys find Cody interesting? No, right?
no.
So on my channel I make jokes about Cody all the time, but it really does boil down to is okay, sure, you're in the Rhodes family. What else is there? That's
Nothing.
it.
You have to do something to set yourself apart. You have to do
Absolutely.
something. You got to have the with 'em.
Yeah,
What's
I
in
mean,
it for me? What's in it for me? What's in it for me to watch Cody Rhodes? There's nothing in it. It's not intriguing. There's no like kind of big payoff we can see coming down the line. It's just yeah,
Yeah,
like you
it
said,
sucks. I mean, and what in the world has Logan Paul done to deserve or earn a world title
God.
shot?
nothing.
Give me a break.
He doesn't even deserve the title that he has.
Right.
No,
I
he
agree.
doesn't
He
at all.
doesn't. I
He
don't want to
doesn't.
just see you on pay-per-views. Like that's one thing I don't like. I'm not a fan of people who are not traditionally wrestlers coming into the business and they make like these special things for them. You're wasting this title on some social media star just so you guys can have casual people who can care less about pro wrestling watch pro wrestling. And this is why I do think we're getting Cody and Logan, because they want to bring in those people to see their social media champion do whatever it is that he does in the ring. And I'll give Logan this. He has improved over time, yes, but in my opinion, he's not a wrestler. You know, y'all trying
No,
to cater
not at all.
to people who are not actual fans, and then the fans are left with stuff that they don't want to see, which is Logan versus Cody.
Yep.
This is crazy.
Yeah, he shouldn't have even won that title off of Rey Mysterio. I
No.
definitely.
Cheating. That's how he got
yeah.
it, by cheating. And he's
Yeah.
still retaining it by cheating.
Yeah. It's annoying. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another thing that goes to like the lazy storyline. Because like, okay, so we've seen him cheat with those brass knuckles how many times now? Is nobody getting wise to it yet?
Mm-hmm. And of course, the one time that the brass knuckles were used and actually acknowledged in the match was when Kevin used them at the Royal Rumble, and I was just like, "What? Like,
Yeah.
really?"
Yeah, they choose to acknowledge it whenever they want to.
Yep. Exactly.
I agree with you, Dylan.
Sight of when they want to notice it.
Right. They pick and choose their battles. I agree with you, Dylan, to a point. I don't think he's underrated at all. I think he's getting way too much considering hasn't even been doing this full time since he became full time February. I don't agree with this at all. I don't think any part-timer, I even said this when Roman had the title, I don't think any part-timer should have a title, period. Because you are holding opportunities away
from others,
taking opportunities away from all the other people on the roster. It's not fair, it's not cool, it's not okay. Whether it's Roman, Logan Paul, I don't care. No part-timer should hold the title. But I definitely do not think that Logan Paul has done enough in his very short time with WWE to earn this world title shot. I really don't. and you need to do more if you want to make us as fans care about it. You need to give it more than just Nick. Um, I almost said Nick Khan. I'm so sorry. Um, the GM of, I can't think of his last name, but the GM of SmackDown saying, "Oh yeah, I picked your
Nick
new
Aldis.
opponent, Nick Aldis." Thank you. I'm like, I know it's an A. I can't think of the last name, but you've got to give it some more meaning. Just then, the GM of SmackDown saying, "Here is your next opponent." Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Maybe it's on a silver platter.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. The part-timer thing, so I agree with that, but disagree when it came to Roman. And I'm gonna tell you why, because I feel like only certain part-time wrestlers can get to that point where they can hold a title and be part-time. I think Roman absolutely deserved to be where he got to, while we have Logan, who really is not a wrestler, who's just taking pictures with the title on social media, not really doing anything with it, where it's just like, okay, you're the one who's taking opportunities from other people. You're not on shows. You're only showing up really on the PLEs, and you don't have. There's nothing really going on, you know. And in my opinion, it's a little bit more of a slap in the face in that situation, because it's just like you guys are prioritizing somebody who has only been in the ring a fraction of the time as everyone else on your roster has been. And he has been done nothing, but he's over here part-time with a title. You know how many people who are still in that roster who hasn't had one? You know how many people who are on the roster who should have one, and he has one, and all he's doing is taking pictures with the title? No way.
Yeah. And talking about it. Oh, I totally agree, Martina. I don't think Cody needs two titles. Like, he does not need two titles at all. I'm wondering. I don't know. I'm wondering if something is going to happen during the show where it's going to come down to like a no contest or something, and nobody's going to lose their title. Because they certainly are not giving Logan Paul the world title. Like, they are not putting that on him.
Wait, so
Just
the titles are actually on the line?
I think they're gonna.
Yes.
Cody voiced it. And Cody mentioned it.
I
So I'm sure that they're gonna do it.
I don't
That's
see the
so-
point
that's
of
what I
that
said, it's
either.
stupid.
What?
It's so dumb.
Oh yeah, but I agree. It's either gonna come down to like no contest, no DQ. And I also read a comment from somebody on Tumblr that they want AJ to come in and interfere in the match.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'd be good
And
with
I'm like,
that.
I'm okay with that.
That is so interesting. Like I don't really see what that does for either one of these guys anyway. So let's say both titles on the line. Cody wins the US title, and what? What? He's already boring holding the biggest title in the company. Why does he need another one? I don't know. And speaking of titles, that title looked absolutely huge on him. It really does.
Yeah, it does. Oh, Earl says that only Cody's title is on the line. Okay.
Oh well, we already know what's going to happen here anyway.
Well, yeah, Logan Paul ain't winning. There's no way they're giving him the title.
If they're not going to give the title to AJ, they sure as hell ain't getting the title.
Right.
No.
So, but who would you guys have chosen if not Logan? Who?
Oh God, I don't even know.
And it's so hard to answer
I'm
that
honestly
because
surprised that
uh-huh.
that they didn't try to do something where like Solo is just so incensed that his tribal chief lost, and Solo's going after, giving Cody a hard time now. Something to do with the bloodline. I'm really surprised they're not like pursuing that, because I would think as Roman's enforcer, he would want to get revenge on Cody for sticking it to his tribal chief.
Yeah.
Unless
I mean, in the back of his mind too, he was tired of being pushed, or not. I don't use the word pushed around by Roman, and that now that Solo is top guy, he's where he wants to be. Roman's out of the picture, at least temporarily.
Mhm.
Everything. So why would you get revenge for that? Do it for yourself.
Mm.
But I mean, see, for me,
Yeah.
I just don't see he doesn't. When people are gonna say he does, I mean, he is he has a dominant personality. He has a dominant aura, but I just don't see him being champion worthy. Not with that title belt. I just don't see him being worthy enough to hold it. I mean, it's even pushing it, putting it on Cody.
Yeah.
But I just don't like. I mean, give him like the U.S. belt, the Intercontinental belt. I mean, it's that like that. Even with Damien too. I mean, like even he's not like in my eyes, he's not championship worthy like of that high of a belt. Give him the U.S. the IC belt. That's
Oh.
generous too. But again, that's my
Ouch.
opinion. That's my opinion. I just don't like. I just didn't see it. I just don't think that they're. I don't. Yeah.
So as much as I hate to admit that, I agree. And the reason why I agree is as much as I just love to stare at Damian Priest, they made him like it was how can I even describe this? Like he looked so horrible with that briefcase. And let me just say, like being a heel doesn't mean that you have to look like a loser. You know what I mean? Every time he goes cash in, somebody gets involved, he doesn't get it. And a whole bunch of things was happening where it was just like, you're probably the worst person to hold this. You know what I mean? And they did nothing to necessarily build him up, knowing that at some point that he'd get one of the bigger titles and get that from Drew. And it's just like we could have built him up to look more of a champion. So I get what you're saying by him not necessarily looking worthy of that, because this whole time that he had the briefcase, he just looks like a wimp. You know what I mean? And now here he is with the title. And for a lot of people, it's not believable. He simply got it because he took it off of Drew. And matter of fact, I would have loved to see Drew with that title for a little bit. It would have been nice.
Would have made sense.
He does have that. I mean, he does have the aura of being a champion in my eyes. Like even if he doesn't hold a briefcase, he holds a briefcase. Drew has that. He has that look. He has the personality. He has the aura. He has everything to be a champion. Damien does not. I don't see it. And I mean, Drew held the company on his back during the friggin' pandemic. He was champion during the pandemic. I mean, he did prove it that he can be a champion, hold on to the belt and be a good champion. Just where he's at right now. I mean, like he kind of like I saw a comment too, like he self-destructed himself big time. Of like if he just took that title and walked away, I think it was planned though for him to get cashed in on. But if he just took that title and walked away instead of rubbing it in CM Punk's face, because he was in CM Punk's place at that at WrestleMania, you would still probably be champion right now. And like he is champion worthy. He's proved it and everything. But I mean, like I said, he definitely like self-sabotaged himself with that one.
Yeah.
Well,
I always thought that he would have a better
said he wanted
career.
a WrestleMania moment, and he got a moment. That's what he got.
I always thought he would have had a better career looking at it right now. You remember he was a chosen one, and it was just like he's gonna go far. And he has what it takes to go far. But once again, we have a company that are prioritizing other people. Sure, like I said, Damien, he's great at certain things, but in terms of holding this title right now, I would have given it to someone else for sure. And Drew definitely worthy of holding that title. But then again, he would have won that. And what would they have done with Drew? Well, we got a CM Punk thing going on, but he's injured. But I think it would have still been better than Damien holding that title right now. I don't know. Honestly, Damien would have been better off going for a mid-card title.
Yep. I agree. So I think the last topic for this evening is
Predictions.
predictions for King and Queen of the Ring. Who do you have,
Oh.
Tati? Have you thought about it much?
Oh man. I'm not sure who are we down to. Like I kind of lost track because so many people have gotten injured and
Yeah.
people being put in it, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you're not in it anymore. Like, first of all, what is up with that? You know, it's crazy for so many people to be in one tournament to be injured, and I do see like some of those people would have really made it far in the tournament, I think, and then here we are where it's just like, all right, we have to replace those people, and now I know like we have like Jade, Bianca, they have a match on SmackDown, right?
I don't need. I was just trying to look for the brackets earlier, and I only found
Yeah.
the men's. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
know that on the Raw side, I know Gunther is still in it.
Mhm.
It's going to be Gunther and Jay
Jey
Ooh.
Uso.
on Monday, and
Yes.
whoever wins that is going to go. Whoever wins the
The
Mm.
SmackDown one.
and SmackDown Friday we have Randy versus Carmelo and LA Knight versus Tama Tonga.
Oh, okay. Well, LA Knight,
Sorry,
if he
LA
doesn't
Knight.
win that, that is crazy.
Sorry, LA Knight,
Randy,
you're losing.
what? You think so?
I think LA Knight's gonna lose. Tama Tonga, man, he is so just vicious. He's so violent. Like I don't know if LA Knight is going to be able to pull it off. I don't
He's
know.
another one too. They seem to not know what to do with LA Knight too. You know,
Put him
even
in a
when the
feud with
crowd
Cody.
is even even when the crowd is like they want LA Knight, WWE is like, we'll give you somebody else. You know what I mean? So like
No,
I don't
no,
know.
can't have that.
I can see him actually winning that match. Um
I
I can see
suppose. I mean,
Randy winning his match for sure.
he
And
better. Like I thought it was a stretch to even put Carmelo Hayes in this thing to begin with. I mean, the guy literally just got called up. What, 2 weeks ago? I'm like, this is
those who are
absurd.
just now starting. Well, you know what? We can't even say that because Jade. Look
I
at
think it's
Jade.
absurd. She was in it too.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I'm gonna be at SmackDown on Friday, so I'll scream extra loud for the both of us. For
Oh,
because
Oh
so
my
cool.
gosh.
I made the comment of I was just like, literal whoever won Randy or AJ's match, obviously it was gonna go for them to the end. But I mean, like, I'm a Randy fan as well, so I'm like, I'm gonna be rooting for him
Mhm.
throughout all of this since AJ's not in it. But I mean,
Oh snap!
I think he's gonna go.
You better take some good videos for me if you can.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, if Tama wins, I mean, I'm not an LA fan. I couldn't stand him even before he started going after AJ. Like, I just don't see the appeal in him. But that's me. If like he can get through Tama Tonga, good for him. He's definitely proved himself. Because I mean, like we all keep saying, Tama Tonga is like he's a savage. He's savage. He's scary. I mean, like you don't want to mess with him. But I mean, if it's down to him and Randy, ooh, that's gonna be interesting.
So is a bracket set up where Randy can face like Gunther or Jay? Is that how it's set up?
If he gets to the very end on SmackDown side.
So there's still going to be one more week. So on Friday we have Randy Orton versus Carmelo and LA Knight versus. Oh wait, it says he defeated Tama Tonga.
What?
Really?
LA Knight defeated Santos Escobar. He's going up against Tama Tonga on
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
on
then-
SmackDown.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind. Sorry. So I saw the one I'm looking at is for USA Today, and it says LA Knight, and then it says DEF. I thought that meant defeated Tama Tonga. I'm like, wait, so they already had their match? I'm like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll either be one of those 4 guys. So whoever wins out of those 2 matches, they'll have their final match to determine who goes to the King of the Ring tournament
Mm-hmm.
the next week, Friday. So whoever
Hmm.
wins on SmackDown will go up against either Gunther, Gunther or Jey Uso. I have a feeling
Wow.
Gunther's going to end up taking it on the Raw side, because if you remember, because I've been doing a little bit of research to kind of refresh my memory about King of the Ring, and King of the Ring was initially created to give an extra push to somebody the company felt very strongly about, the company wanted to get behind. So years ago, I watched this a few times, like different documentaries and stuff about this, but Triple H was supposed to win King of the Ring the year that Stone Cold Steve Austin ended up winning, and Triple H got his opportunity taken away because of the whole curtain call thing
Curtain call.
the whole curtain call thing. So they told Stone Cold he was going to win it instead, and
That
look
is
what happened to
crazy.
Stone Cold.
That was a
So,
very defining moment in Steve Austin's
oh
career.
yes,
Very
oh
defining moment. So,
yes.
Triple H, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Triple H. That was so generous of you. But yeah, so I mean, it was created really as a way to give somebody that they found value in a big push. So when I think about it from that regard, I think
Hmm.
it really could be Gunther on the Raw side. It really could be Gunther or Jey Uso. But I could see them doing it to giving Gunther that push.
Yeah.
I really could see them doing that for Gunther, and it wouldn't surprise me if they would do it, just because she's just been killing it the whole time, ever since, even before she got called up. She's been killing it. I could see them giving it the Queen of the Ring, or yeah, the Queen of the Ring to Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany. Interesting. I'm not sure. Not sure about
But I
Tiffany.
mean, I
Um,
want to go back on that because she just got called up a little while back. She hasn't been on the main
yeah.
roster for a very long time.
Oh, wait, she's
Um,
facing Bianca on Friday, right?
yep.
Oh, oh, now I'm not sure.
So it's like, I don't know who I want to win more, Bianca or Tiffany, because I mean, Bianca doesn't really need the push.
She
Bianca
doesn't
has
need it at
done.
all.
And
No, she
people
does
are
not need that.
already like loving Tiffany. People love Tiffany.
Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time.
Yeah, she's
Very
just,
interesting.
her gimmick is annoying as hell.
And Jade, who is Jade going against?
Let me look. Hang on, I gotta get back to this.
Is it? I think it's Naya.
Oh, Naya. Yes,
Naya,
it
yeah, because
is.
Naya defeated Naomi.
Oh,
Yep, so it is Naya. So Jade is going up against Nia Jax.
oh my God. So you know what? You know what I don't like about this is that sure, Jade and Bianca, they have tag titles, not singles titles, but they just won titles. Why do you really want to put them in situations where they're losing like that?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Um, and another thing too, Becky recently winning the title really made me feel some type of way because I was just like, look at all these women in the ring that could have gotten an opportunity to, win a title or whatnot. Not everybody deserved to win that title. Indeed, definitely not. Um, some of these girls definitely could have had that chance to hold the title. And I look at a tournament like this and I'm just like, Bianca didn't need to be here. Jay didn't need to be here. There's certain people that I just feel like, in
I
terms
don't
of, if
think
you have a
Io
title,
Sky needed to be
you
in
don't
it.
need to be there. EO, another one too. If you're holding titles, y'all need to be in these tournaments. Let's give people who really need an opportunity to win
Yep,
something be in this situation.
I
So
agree.
I don't know. Naya, I would love to see her win. I know a lot of people don't like Naya, but
I
I
cannot
think we should
stand
give her a
her.
chance. Give her a
No,
chance.
I can't stand her.
Really?
She has not, to me. Here, let me exit out of this page and I can turn my camera back on. Because I'm like, I don't really think you guys want to see close up of my nose while I'm looking at the computer screen. You're looking all this stuff up. But I don't think that Nia has done enough. I don't think she's been back long enough to earn any shot at a title yet. Like, she needs to do more, and that's why, like what Martina said before in the comments. Oh yeah, Mitch made my logo. Everybody,
He's made everybody's logo. He made
And my
mine
favorite.
too. Mitch, would you stop being a little turd? See,
Aw.
he made mine
Mitch is
too.
like-
He made everybody's.
Mitch
Because
is
he's
made
good as
Oh,
Mitch
that's
says.
so cute.
little brother. Oh, don't worry. I think yours is. You'll have a surprise too, Tati.
No, I actually did get one, but I didn't notice that everybody was using theirs. I would have put mine on too.
Oh yeah, you can. I just do it. I always have to switch it over because for whatever reason it randomly reverts back to random ones, so it's super weird.
Okay.
Like other people's, like there have been so many times where I pause my screen like this, and I'll have like Mitch's up on there, and it literally is a picture of Mitch in a
Really?
jersey. I'm like, why is this reverting to other people's pictures? It's so weird. But no, that's why I just don't think Nia has done enough to like really. I
Not
don't
even
know.
won the
That's why I
tournament
think-
though?
I don't know, because like that's why I thought like Martina's comment earlier about her being involved in the bloodline. I think that would be great
Very
opportunity
beneficial
for her.
for her.
Mhm.
That would be really, really great for her.
Interesting. But being in an opportunity like that could build her up to, I don't know, a title in the future,
Build her
in
up
near
to
future.
being like earning a title. Like I said, I don't think her having her squash matches and smashing people, and I don't think she's good enough in the ring yet to be able to hold a title. I really don't.
Ooh.
Like she needs, like, yeah, she can squash people and she can. I mean, I thought like of her matches, like as far as I can remember back, one of her best matches I thought she had was with Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
At Elimination Chamber. I thought
Mm.
she looked pretty good in that match. You could definitely see improvement. But since it's like all she does is come out to the ring and clothesline people and power
That's
bomb
very
them and
interesting.
all that other stuff, it's like she just, I don't know.
It just seems
I
like
know.
she's careless almost.
So I hear you guys on that. And Primetime also mentioned about her hurting people in the past. And I had my opinions about Nia too. But then I don't know if you guys follow Willow Nightingale. She's a wrestler. And early in her career in AEW, she hurt a lot of girls. And that was just like, oh my gosh, if she's not ready to be in the ring, you guys should not put her in the ring. But she's literally made a huge turnaround. And now she has a TBS title. Like, I haven't seen her hurt anyone. She's improved in the ring. I do feel like, sure, things happen in the past. Maybe we can give them another chance and see what happened. If it's something that keeps occurring, then the company have to make some type of changes. You know,
Sure.
I don't think Triple H would have brought Nia Jax back if he didn't feel like she wasn't safe enough to be in a ring with, you know? So I don't know. I think they really wanted to give her another chance. So
I don't think it's a matter of her maybe not being safe anymore because she hasn't hurt anybody since she's come back. I know she didn't,
mhm.
it's happened in the past and all of that, but she hasn't hurt anybody since she's been back. So I have to give her that, obviously. I just think that she hasn't been around long enough. She hasn't done enough in the ring. Like, put her in more matches.
Mhm.
It's great that you're giving her the opportunity to be in the Queen of the Ring tournament, but I think you've got to do more. Like, if you really want her to hone in on her skills, hone in on her craft, really get good, you've
Mhm.
got to put her in matches. And like I said, having her just jump out from, behind the barrier and clothesline somebody or attack somebody backstage, that's not enough. That's not
Yeah.
enough. And I get it. You want, she's a heel. You want her to be intimidating and be seen as a threat. I get that.
Mhm.
But I think there's a better way to do that.
I agree. So
But
for
I
the
don't,
ladies, y'all want to see Tiffany win?
I could see Tiffany taking it. for sure. I could see Tiffany because right now on Raw, it's. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone
I
instead.
don't even know who the heck is left for the women.
It is. Hang on. I'll get it. Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Those are the two finalists for Raw for the ladies from last night. So, and they're going against each other next week on Raw. So whoever wins that will go up against whoever the SmackDown lady is, and they'll have their big match at Queen of the Ring.
Interesting. I think Io would get that. I think. Oh, and another thing too, when it comes to the men's, what do you do when main event Uso does not win this tournament? What do you do now? You know, it's like, in my opinion, yeah, he got that nickname, but it's just like, well, not so main event Jey Uso. You know what I mean? And it's like this tournament would be really good for him to win. I would prefer to
I think it
see
would be.
Randy or Gunther, but it makes more sense if they really want to push Jey Uso. I would like to see him win too. I just don't think so. Gunther probably
Yeah,
gonna win that.
yeah. I would love to see who I want to win would be Jey Uso
Hmm.
or Randy Orton. Who I think is going to win, most likely going to be Gunther. But I think you're right, Toddy. Like I think it's just going to take the wind out of his sails. Excuse me.
Hmm.
By not having him win, you're touting him as being this big single star. You're trying to really give him this singles push, and then to have him lose against, potentially, I guess you should say, lose against Gunther.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. It's a really tough
Hurts
one.
the
But
momentum.
then I would love to see Randy versus Gunther in the end too. That would be a great match.
Mhm.
So, oh man, a lot of possibilities, a lot of possibilities. But I do think Gunther for sure. For the ladies, I'm not sure. But I wouldn't mind seeing Tiffany take it though.
Yeah,
Yeah, agreed.
yeah. That's who I think. That's who I think makes the most sense. She's got the crowd behind her. She obviously has WWE behind her because they, called her up to the main roster, and she's been just
Yeah.
doing fantastic ever since. Like I said, I'm not crazy about her, character because it's just super duper like annoying and condescending.
it's
I can't
it's
stand that.
typical.
It's
Typical. Yeah.
typical heel though, so can't falter for that. So
Hmm.
but yeah, so that's all we got for this week. So or for this month. Um so yeah, I wanted to thank you, Tati, for coming on and joining us again tonight. It's been fantastic getting to know you a little bit better and getting to talk wrestling. It's so nice to have another girl to talk
Oh my
wrestling with.
gosh. Hey, you guys are invited to my channel anytime. Let me know and I will open the
Sweet.
floor for you guys.
Ew.
I am always asking ladies to join me and they seem to be on the side. So it's okay. I get it. But hey, if you guys ever want to come on my channel, let me know. The door is
Heck
open.
yeah. Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. I think it would be really fun.
For
I
sure.
think it would be a lot of fun. All right. Well, that is going to do it for this episode, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please be sure to follow Hardcore Sports Network. Please be sure to follow Tati on her channel. She's got excellent content, guys. Um, like you, like Tati mentioned earlier, she streams AEW and what was the other one that you stream, Tati?
Ring of Honor.
Ring of
I
Honor.
do WWE PLEs in New Japan.
Oh, you do New Japan too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, guys, seriously, I've watched your watch alongs and such for AEW. You do an excellent job, Tati. So,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
yeah, so go ahead. Like I said, guys, follow Hardcore Sports Network. Please follow Tati. You can follow Denise and I on social media. And we'll see everybody in June when our guest is going to be none other than Mr. Earl Cole.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
But Earl, you're gonna have to sit back and relax and enjoy yourself.
We get to beam Earl aboard our mothership this time.
Yes, we do.
This will be fun. I can't wait. We're going to have a great time. It's always fun with Earl. So, again, I'm Sarah, and I've got Denise and Tati with me. Thanks again for joining us, everybody, and we hope to see you guys next month. Oh, are you going to do